Over by the backdrop, the fair's backdrop, they do have a table set up for taking pictures of your poultry by the backdrop. So at some point after the show or after the classes, if the champions reserves or anybody wants to take a picture with their bird by the fair backdrop, it is set up, and there is a photographer there taking pictures for the media. Okay, last call to weigh in broilers. Last call to weigh in broilers. While we're waiting, if anybody would like to come down and take a look at the broilers and just walk through before we get this show started, if you want to take a closer look at some of the broilers, it will tell you a little bit about this class that we're starting with. This is a standardized broiler class. All of these members received these chicks at the same time from the same hatch. On June 18th, the week of June 18th, the Extension Office received 300 chickens in the mail as chicks, day-old chicks. They were sorted into lots of 12, and each one of the members came in then and picked up their box of 12 chicks. These were all from the same hatch, from the same hatchery, arrived the same day. So all of these members started on level footing and raised their set of 12 and chose which 3 to bring to the fair. We're going to get ready to start here with the broiler. So if the broiler exhibitors could come and get ready to go, if we could have pen 1 and 2, go ahead and head to your pens, and the rest down here on the end of the pens. But we'd like all of the broiler exhibitors in the ring. And our judge, Glenn Drowns, is here. Glenn is a longtime poultry judge in the state of Iowa, judges all over. He's an educator from Calamus, Iowa. He's a published author in show poultry and showing poultry. He was here with us last year, does a great job teaching the kids and evaluating the poultry. So without further ado, Glenn, welcome, and we're going to get started. Did you want to say anything? All right, very good. All right, we're going to start.
Our first exhibitor in pen 1 is Zane Arnold. His pen weighed 17 pounds, 17.5.
Exhibitors should be waiting inside the ring at the end of the pens. And whoever's in pen 2 should be down by their birds at this time.
Pen number 2 is Gabe Bellinger. His pen weighed 7.8.
As you'll notice during the poultry show today, there are certain members who are wearing gray polos. Those are our senior exhibitors. This is their last time in the show ring. We can say that for sure this year, unless they're showing horses, of course. But we have our first exhibitor today is one of those seniors, Zane Arnold. If everybody could give Zane a round of applause. Congratulations on a successful 4-H career, Zane.
Zane Arnold received a blue ribbon. Our third exhibitor, Isabel Duvall. Her pen weighed 18 pounds even.
What was that weight again?
18 pounds.
Okay.
Did he give you some good, helpful hints? Gabe received a red ribbon.
It's important that while on the fairgrounds today, you respect and follow social distancing expectations with people outside your immediate family unit. Please remember to wash your hands often while you're here at the stations. They're all located around the grounds.
She gets them.
Our fourth pen is Quincy Duvall. Her pen weighs 17 pounds even. Isabel received a blue ribbon.
We should mention that the gray polos that you see that I mentioned earlier that Zane is wearing were donated by Widoff Farm Supply. Washington County 4-H would like to thank Widoffs for providing the seniors with these shirts.
I gave you a little.
Our next exhibitor is Anna Dua. Her pen weighed 18.4.
You say
18.
18 point.
Quincy received a blue ribbon.
Blue for her.
Our next exhibitor is Zane Fisher. His pen weighs 19 pounds even. Anna received a blue ribbon.
Anna Dua, who just exhibited, is our second senior in the ring. Anna's been with the Poultry project, I believe. Anna, have you been in your entire 9 years of 4-H? All but one. She's been very successful. She's been very good with this project and been a big asset to the Poultry department. Let's give Anna a round of applause.
Zane received a blue ribbon. Pen number 7 is Grace Hiller. Her pen weighs 16.3.
What did you say that weight was?
16.3.
16.3. What do you feed your dog? Those are really good, clean, nice, uniform Japanese blue ribbon.
Grace received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Adeline Houston. Her pen weighed 19.3.
As Grace Hiller comes around to the other side, she's the third senior we have in the ring. Grace has been very involved. I think, Grace, you started with the Poultry Project way before you were even in 4-H. Let's give Grace a round of applause, another one that's going to be dearly missed.
Yeah, that's fresh blood. It's not a sore. We'll go ahead and give you a blue as well. Those are in good shape.
Adeline received a blue ribbon. Our next pen is Antone Larimer. His pen weighs 18.4.
What did you feed him?
We'll give several shout outs today, and we'll give them over and over again. One that we're going to thank you again and again is KCTC for their generous gift to live stream all the livestock shows this week. The link is listed on the show program if you want to go back and look and rewatch some of the shows. For you exhibitors, if you want to go home, it'll be on their YouTube site. We appreciate their generous support. Families and friends around the world have gotten to enjoy a lot of livestock shows at the Washington County Fair this year. Please check it
Antone
out.
received a
They've
blue
done a great
ribbon.
job.
Jasper Larimer's pen weighs 19.4.
Definitely give you a blue ribbon for those. Those are really nice shape.
Jasper received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Kennedy Long. Her pen weighs 8.3.
Interesting. Learning a lot. You pick one and I'll. I just need to see if you know what you're doing. day.
Every good's the same day, yes.
Is there a final competition here? I forgot. I judged too many fairs this week.
What do you mean?
It's just what, there's no, is there a champion overall?
Of these guys,
Yeah.
yes.
There is, okay. Was there a record book or anything with this that they had to
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no.
No.
I mean, they have to
Okay.
write a financial report.
Okay. All right.
Well, there should have been goals. You guys wrote goals about your chicken. You write goals about your
We'd like to announce that Washington County Farm Bureau has generously provided free bottled water for our exhibitors and their families. They can be, if you would like to get water, there is water in the 4-H hall.
I'm going to go with the red on this one.
Kennedy received a red ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Carson Mellinger. His pen weighs 15.7.
In your mind, today's world,
What's her name? Carson? Carson, yeah, this is Carson. I know another Carson.
red.
Carson received a red ribbon. Samantha Mellinger's pen is 16.4.
Blue for her.
Samantha received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Olivia Pasha. Her pen weighs 11.5.
In case you didn't catch that, that was our 4th senior in the ring today, Samantha Mellinger. Let's give Samantha a round of applause. She's been a great 4-H'er.
We'll give her a blue. They're nice.
Olivia received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Gwen Piet. Thank you. And her pen weighs 17.6. Put my glasses on, maybe I can read it.
We'll give her a blue.
Gwen received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Cooper Roth. His pen weighs 15.6.
Good boy. Good idea. You did well for the first year. Next year, I would just say that you might want to put a little bit of that clean them up and then check them even better. See if they get a little bit shiny or white. They just look. Give him a few.
Cooper received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Charlie Stoutner. His pen weighs 9.9.
Two questions I have for you, Charlie. Portion back. I want you to look at this. See how many feathers are on here? So these guys had access to green grass. Oh, I agree with you. I'm not fair sometimes. I like to come to these things and I like to learn as much as you guys as to what impact feed has on things, what impact, to see what different feeds do to these animals and how they look. It's just as I look down this row of all these birds, here's have a few feathers. Okay. So the biologist is going to understand why does it mess with the feathers? Because if they leave a feather up as much as they are, or if there's something, something that's different, you're telling me that chickens that doesn't, you said that doesn't match up, that they would be warmer because they're actually getting more fresh air and more stuff.
Yeah, though I did like
So,
the sun.
yeah, so that's interesting. And since everybody got theirs from the same source, that variable is out. There's nothing wrong with your split flies, and it should be easier to do. So I'll go ahead and give you a blue ribbon.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Charlie received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Shauna Sublett. Her pen weighs 17.8.
All of the 4-H shirts that you've seen the exhibitors wear this week are a donation from Federation Bank. We'd like to thank Federation Bank for sponsoring those shirts regularly each year, and for making sure that every member has an exhibitor shirt to wear. You'll see a lot of showmen wearing those today.
Shauna received a blue ribbon. Our last exhibitor is Caden Houston. His pen weighs 16.9. Hayden received a blue ribbon.
Organized. No, I know, but I can count. I can count.
He's going over. Is it on? Yes. Okay. Good morning, guys. My name is Phelan Hostetler. I am the daughter of Keith Hostetler and Clinton Michelle Shallow. Nope. Is it on? Yeah. Okay, and I am the first runner-up for the Washington County Fair Queen this year.
I'd like to take a moment to thank Phelan for being here to hand out the awards to the exhibitors today. We're waiting right now. Mr. Drowns is selecting his champion and reserve champion broiler pen. We will keep the champion and reserve in pens behind the main show line. So at the end of the show, he will pick a best of show. The champion broiler, the trophy for the champion broiler project today is sponsored by the Houston family.
Okay, a tough thing here. I would say that these types of projects are really good for me. I'm a biologist and a science teacher for 36 years, about to start year 37. I like to see when students can tell me data and information, and some of them were very good at that. And to me, that's just as important in 4-H as the bird. It's equally important, I should say. In our society today, as we move farther and farther away from people understanding where their food comes from, you get people who don't understand things. If they see manure or things like that, they freak out and will never eat chicken again and stuff like that. So I've tried encouraging each one of the students or the exhibitors here to, cleanliness is really important, to wash your birds, to get as much of that manure and fecal material and dirt and grime off of them to make them look as presentable as possible. For some of them, it was their first year, and I think that they understood that, and some of them did, and some of them didn't understand that. And many philosophies come into play when it comes to raising these broiler birds. I'm not a big broiler bird fan. I've raised them once in 58 years, and that was probably enough for me. There's nothing wrong with them. They have a purpose, but I still like traditional chicken. I'm a leg, thigh type is my favorite part of the chicken, not the breast part. So that's maybe my big bias against them. But when it comes to these, I'm looking for, as I've told the exhibitors, cleanliness. The health of the bird has to have some impact on it. Only saw a couple cases today where we had the sores starting on the joints, and that's a bad thing, because if people don't cook their chicken well enough, or done enough, then you're going to have issues with people getting sick from the bacteria that gets in through those sores. So there was 3 here that kind of stood out. There was a bunch more. It was really tough, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of first runner-ups here. But our champion is going to be Anna's pen. It had the highest weight, and they were nice and clean and healthy. And it came down between Shauna and Zane Arnold both had very clean birds, very healthy looking birds, and knew a lot about them. And Zane, hers weighed 3 ounces more than yours, so that's what I had to make the decision on. I'm sorry. So that's your reserve and your champion.
Your champion broiler pen goes to Anna Dua, and your reserve champion is to Shauna Sublet.
I'm sorry, was there more than one Shauna? Okay.
At this time, we'll get the birds, the champion and the reserve pen into the pens, and everyone else can start taking their birds back to the barns. I will call for the layer pens in a few minutes.
Oh, no, you're not.
I didn't know.
I'm sorry. I'm totally lost. I didn't have enough coffee.
Anna, we started with champions. We got Anna. Champions on this side.
Last year's heat.
Yeah. It's
Okay, pen of three exhibitors, please start moving your pen of threes in. As a reminder, we have Isabel Duvall using pens 1 and 2, Quincy Duvall using 3 and 4, Zane Fisher in 5 and 6, Grace Hiller in 7, 8, and Olivia in 9 and 10. I think I told you 8, 9. It's 9 and 10, Olivia. No, he's... So the final results for the standardized broiler pen of three, we have blues to Zane Arnold, Isabella Duvall, Quincy Duvall, Anna Dua, Zane Fisher, Grace Hiller, Adeline Houston, Antone Larimer, Jasper Larimer, Samantha Mellinger, Olivia Pasha, Gwen Piet, Cooper Roth, Charlie Stoutner, and Shauna Sublett and Caden Houston. Reds were awarded to Gabe Bellinger, Kennedy Long, Carson Mellinger, and your champion goes to Anna Dua. Reserve champion pen of three is Shauna Sublett. Anna Dua, if you wanted to take your bird or two out of your cage and go take the picture over at the media backdrop, this would be a good time to do that. Looks like we're ready to start the pen of three layers. The birds that you see in the pens right now would be a pen of three production layer class. And we're ready to go with 5 exhibitors. We have Isabel Duvall, Quincy Duvall, Zane Fisher, Grace Hiller, and Olivia Pasha.
Our first exhibitor is Isabel Duvall.
Well, they're
Isabel received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Quincy Duvall.
Okay, so my only comment. Nice healthy looking birds, good shine, good everything. It's hard with crossbreds to get through white, but if you get anytime you have a pen and three, you want the three to look like triplets. This girl is bigger. She's bigger than the other ones. Just kind of sticks out. Okay. If you've got more of them, kind of try to group them. Get them in a cage like this and try to group them breed and see that everybody looks about the same. So when I'm looking down on them, I can't figure out which chicken I'm picking up because they all look the same. Go ahead and give me a blue ribbon.
Quincy received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Zane Fisher.
You like production red? Oh, this is the first you're getting.
Zane received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Grace Hiller.
Sure. You hear these mellow fellows here, just relax, and these guys are like all over. These will lay really well, but they're just like, see, I mean, she's just trying to get out. Not happy. I'll go ahead and give you, they're in good shape.
Grace received a blue ribbon. Our last exhibitor in this class is Olivia Pasha.
As you can see, Olivia, I think I missed her in the Broiler class as a senior. Olivia Pasha is a senior this year. She's another long-time poultry exhibitor. Always comes with a great variety of poultry to the fair. Let's give her a round of applause.
So they're closer to production than the black stars. I'll give her a
Olivia received a blue ribbon.
we have a champion in reserve in this group too.
As Mr. Drowns selects his champion and reserve champion pen of 3 layers, we'd like all the single layer exhibitors to please be ready to bring your chickens into the ring. As soon as he's done, we'll move the pens of 3s out, and you'll be able to bring in your single layers. So please be ready.
Okay. Production pens, the main thing I look for is production, because it is a production pen. If they're fairs or earlier things like that, then you take that into consideration. We got 1, 2, 3 pens of black stars here, are the black sex links. Those will be very good productive birds. They're not in production yet. Our reserve is going to be Olivia's Calico Princess pen of 3 there. They're a relatively new crossbred, but has supposedly quite a bit of potential. They're closer to maturity and closer to production where I can actually evaluate that. Zane's going to be our champion with his production reds. They're already producing, and you can see that by doing the 2-finger check between the pubic bones, etc. The ones who showed the black stars, when you get to pens of 3, there's always that thing that the judge is looking for where you have that uniformity. You kind of, if you can, keep 3 that are somewhat the same color. I realize with the crossing and the genetics, you're going to get the variations. But then you start looking for uniformity in size. I guess the problem I have with black stars is they're all over the place size-wise. You look at those Calico Princesses and you look at those production reds. The 3 birds are all the same size in there, and you look at the black stars and there's a variance in size. Nothing critical of the exhibitor whatsoever. That's just the breed. If you're going to show the black stars, get them to the point where they're all laying eggs, and then you'll start winning the shows with those, because then you'll be able to see the production capabilities.
Your champion pen of 3 egg layers, again, is Zane Fisher. Reserve champion goes to Olivia Pasha. Congratulations, Zane and Olivia. Trophy for the champion that the trophy Zane received is sponsored by the Montz family. If you could remember to bring the champion and the reserve over to the pens on this side. Please bring in your single egg layers. Please bring in your single egg layers. For single egg layers, we should have in pen 1, Isabel, 2, Quincy, then Zane, Grace, Olivia, Jack Pfeiffer, Maddie Pfeiffer, Gwen Piet, Grace Pribble, Grace Skelton, and Sydney Skelton. So we should have you all to the rings, and once you get your chicken in, if you could step around to the other side until it's your, we'll be ready to go. Again, the results of the pen of 3 layers. Blues go to Isabel Duval, Quincy Duval, Zane Fisher, Grace Hiller, and Olivia Pasha. Your champion was Zane Fisher, and your reserve champion was Olivia Pasha.
Single egg leg. Okay.
Our first exhibitor is Isabel Duvall.
Black stuff.
Isabel received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Quincy Duvall.
She received a blue ribbon. Okay, blue.
I'd like to welcome our next set of royalty to hand out ribbons. We have in the ring with us now Olivia Merrick, who was the second runner-up in the Washington Fair Queen Contest. Please give Olivia a round of applause.
Blue.
Quincy received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Zane Fisher.
Easy going. Calm, ready to take it off. No wrapping it once. Fabulous wear. We'll definitely.
Zane received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Grace Hiller.
But cheese.
Grace received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Olivia Pasha.
What do we have here? How old is this girl? You washed her. Yeah, she's pretty white. Must not be but her legs are so yellow. Give me a blue ribbon for her.
Thank you. What do you think?
Olivia received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Jack Pfeiffer.
What do we have here, Jack? How old is this girl?
I'd also like to, as we're thanking the people who are the businesses that donated the shirts and have contributed to the Washington County Fair, I'd like to thank the Farm Bureau for sponsoring the snazzy red shirt that I'm wearing. All the superintendents for the livestock programs were given these shirts donated by the Farm Bureau. So thank you to the Farm Bureau.
Buff Orpingtons are fun chicken to raise. She's really super healthy. She's even bright nails, but yet she's laying. Good colors. here is just egg laying.
Egg layer. Single egg.
Is this your first year showing? Yeah. I'll go ahead and give you a break on that.
Jack received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Maddie Pfeiffer.
Say Maddie, is that right? I'm guessing you're related to Jack. You hear what I told Jack? That about orphan pictures. Same age, I assume? Yeah. Yeah, right? Good. How you doing? Same situation, try to keep them out of the sunset ratio until they get some better. Watch them up a little bit when they see a lot better. So I'll go ahead and do a blue ribbon.
Blue ribbon.
Maddie received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Gwen Pietz.
What do we have, Glenn? How old is this girl? 19 weeks old. Okay. You said you had to get new chickens. Why? I missed that. Ooh. Old age or just? Yeah. Those are fun, aren't they? I like a bloody mess. 19 weeks. Good growth. Nice and clean. But you've done this for how many years? 4? Give you a
Gwen received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Grace Pribble.
How old a chicken? Orphan kids. You need to wash her up a little bit, especially when you get a chicken. You don't want to get like I just had. You want to clean it. As you get older, you get. Try to look at my hands. Mine aren't as pretty as yours. That's just you got to do something to make them look pretty.
Bantam exhibitors, we're nearing the end of this class, so if you are exhibiting bantams, please be prepared to bring in your birds. Please go to your birds and get ready to bring them in. He's got a couple of pens left here of single egg layers, and then we'll be naming a champion and moving on to the bantams.
Grace Pribble received a blue ribbon. Our next exhibitor is Grace Skelton.
2 Graces in a row. Okay, Grace. How many years have you shown poultry, Grace? First one? Because I didn't remember you from last year. So how old is this chicken? About sheep. So it's your first year. I'm going to give you 2 tips. Again, when you get to be older, wash the legs. It doesn't hurt to put a little something to soften them up a little bit. Don't overdo it. You put a little bit of Vaseline or even hand lotion on their legs. Don't go chafing it on them. Just to make them look not so rough or so old. Makes her feel more like she's going to there. Definitely lay an egg. The other tip I give when you're showing older chickens is about a month before the fair to give them some cheap powder out a little bit help make them a little shinier and look like they're a young chicken. I'll go ahead and give you a blue ribbon. It's your first year. Just remember those tips for.
Grace received a blue ribbon. Our last exhibitor in this class is Sydney Skelton.
What do we have? Oh, really? How old is she? I like Dominique, but you must have roosters eyes too. Okay. First year showing. They can only be so lenient for so long sometimes. Whoops. When you're going to show chickens, again, like I told the others, clean up their legs a little bit. But when you get to the point, you can't have them bareback. I mean, this is a nice looking chicken. I've got a few issues with her calm as a Dominique, but when you bring them to the fair, you're going to have to keep them separate from the roosters.
Sydney received a red ribbon.
We have a champion in reserve. Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. It's an egg layer class, so I'm looking for, again, production when you're calling it an egg layer. We got a mixture of ones that lay brown eggs and ones that lay white eggs. Not too many white eggs. Ooh, just one that lays white egg. Olivia's white legger, and the rest of them are brown or tinted egg layers. That overall health, maturity factor comes into play here. Our champion is going to be Zane's production red. I'm not a big fan of production reds, but you do a great job with him, Zane, so congratulations on that. Reserve is going to be, is it Gwen? Yeah, the Barred Rock is yours? Yeah. Nice, healthy production strain of Barred Rock. Good body size, good character, and real good condition.
She's a gal. I'll just walk over with you.
Your champion single egg layer is Zane Fisher, and your reserve champion is Gwen Piet. The trophy for the single egg layer was donated by Professional Proteins Limited. Gwen, you'll need to bring your bird over here, please. Oh, you're there.